such. Vortex gets taken out as Gugas is looking for another one. Even the sound barrier is not enough here. Sonya has arrived as well. Bijou getting focused. There's the mosh pit. Very nearly to Stark and run into it, but that's still 3 kills to 0.
The mosh pit was sold out already. Unfortunately, nobody left inside. And Mana is just casually killing a Tracer here with Gugus. Those two have perfect synchrony. It is a pleasure to watch them get the resets whenever they need to. Now, Lucifer completed its hammer time trait provided by the Q. Is that going to be enough, though? It's a 3-level lead for the Polish team here almost. 2 altars once again, and keep in mind the bottom lane is going to get pressured by mercenaries now. It is still under control for the Polish team, so 5 shots per altar.
There's double Mercs moving in right now. Rhaegar not even joining his team. He's actually just committing to the bot lane. You immediately see the reaction from Spain, but they might be a little too slow. Rhaegar, oh, Tracer just in time to at least hold, and that gives time for the rest of the team to arrive.
Yeah, Lucio helping out now with the knockback. That was very close, a last-second save, if you will. But that is, of course, the bigger weakness. I'd never hold that thought. The June is in trouble.
A lot of damage. First of the Web Weavers, first of the Sappers has been killed off. Second one beginning to go down. Solid defense there by Spain.
And if we take a look at the Polish team and how they're playing it, for the most part, it is actually a 4 versus 4, 4 versus 5 the entire time. Wolfsy is almost not participating in the entire game. All he does is rotate between top, mid, top, and tries to get as much pushing in as possible. Even Dehaka can't keep up with the speed of his.
Yeah, and yet Spain are still losing these fights thanks to the great play from the ETC here from Poland.
Yeah, I really think Zadoon is playing out of his mind on the ETC. We were actually expecting Lucifer to maybe put on a show on the ETC, but denying it from Lucifer and putting it on Zadoon seems to have been the golden choice during the team draft for the Polish team.
It has been going really, really well for them as they continue to just control the bot lane.
Yeah.
Very standard strat here, just control bot lane, grab Mercs on cooldown, and continue to keep pressure onto Spain, leaving one hero to do something else on the map. Finding Dehaka is going to react to this top lane and attempt to do something, as we see an invade coming in. Moshpit gets several. Muradin not able to land the Stormbolt, as we already see Tracer getting taken out. The sound barrier is good, but it's not enough to save Bijou.
Yeah, and Tharkum unfortunately was trapped in that mosh pit as well. Otherwise, he could have maybe saved the Tracer or even interrupted it. But as it is, Lucio is the one target that should never get caught by either the stun or the following mosh pit here. And a big problem for the Spanish team. You can really see that in this moment here in the bottom lane. They don't have poke. They need to hard engage. But how are you going to hard engage when you're 3 levels behind? They don't have heroes like Rainman, Gul'dan, or Lunara who could just constantly poke and eventually get structures back.
Taz is about to deny lethal because there were actually 6 shots available and only 12 shots available and only 12 health on the core. Luckily, we do also see
get the bottom.
Yeah, he didn't get the bottom, so it's going to be down to 6 health, but they did get the right-hand altar. So Spain keeping themselves alive in this game.
They still are heavily behind, though, because there is just so much going on for the Polish team here. They control so much of the area. If you take a look at it, middle still in Polish hands, top lane still in Polish hands. So it is extremely hard for the Spanish team to really gain any foothold again.
They are... The back foot is where they were earlier in the game. Right now, they are literally on their toes, hanging off the edge of the cliffside, as they are desperately trying to regain their balance and lean forward.
You can really see how aggressively the Polish team goes in. Immediately, beautiful Wolf, Z, and Mana combinations here on the Taster. He doesn't have dimensional shift. They might even go ham on him.
He's eaten several magic missiles here. He's getting focused. Dodges the spear. There's the nullification. He's trying to make the play here. Vortex shields himself. He'll have Archon in 6 seconds.
Nice
Sound barrier is good. The pulse bomb on Zadoon and Wolf's here. Essential will keep Wolves alive, and Vortex goes down just before he's able to use the Archon.
And Gugus continues to do his bloody work on the Genji. He's an absolute nightmare. Nobody seems to be able to contain him. He even goes into the death zone, goes back all over the map. Beautiful tippy top blink combo.
Mugilo was able to kill off Genji in the end, though. He is still alive. It's a 3-for-1 right now in favor of Poland. No shots are available.
Here it goes.
Mosh pit, and that's it. They're going to be able to clear out the last 2 members. The camp, the shrine, the altars have just spawned, and there is going to be nothing that Spain can do. And in fact, it's going to be very nearly a triple cap if mid had not just died to minions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, but of course there's going to be 2 altars. The Polish team only needs 1 and still 4 members currently on cooldown for Team Spain. They could maybe try to use the tunnel, but guess what? Mana's already setting up his guard duty, trying to prevent anyone from rushing through.
Taz will deny, but he can only deny mid as bot is channeled in by Sonya, and that is going to be GG as we see Poland taking game number 1.
And everything, absolutely everything seems to have worked here for the Polish team. No matter if you take a look at the mosh pits, the Genji going crazy all around, Mana landing almost every single ability over and over again. I mean, how are you going to beat a team that shows no weaknesses?
How good is Poland?
Quite good.
Is Poland legitimately one of the best teams in Europe? Because it's looking like it, guys. They are absolutely insane.
Sign them up for Open Division, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the same with Team Portugal, but I would really like to see a Team Poland, and we've actually had full Polish teams do well. One of them made it all the way to the Crucible in the last phase. They got really close, and once again, we see yet another full Polish roster doing well in a tournament.
So, my replays for you. I've got 2. The first one is the game's even at this point. So you can see Spain, they just got a kill on Sonya. They just capped the altar, but they're greedy. They want another kill. And guys, watch Mana. Look how accurate he is in the queue. So there's the first one, landing all 3 on Dehaka. Here's the second one, landing all 3 on Lucio. Instant blink in to punish. He does actually miss the W, but he gets it on the end. Resets, baby. It's double reset. 2 people instantly down. And this is where Spain completely lose control of the game.
And this is exactly how you use the resets. You always cast your most threatening ability first. It is always the Arcane Orb when Mana uses it. He doesn't waste time with more magic missiles, maybe a Way of Force. No, he goes for the most threatening, lethal abilities first. Beautiful to see.
The most impressive thing there was how accurate he was with the magic missiles, instantly nailing all 3 of them on 2 targets consecutively. Did so much damage and just forced Spain back without them even realizing how much damage they were taking.
A couple times he was at the where we saw Tassadar getting poked down right before he had Archon. Even though Li Ming was just firing orbs into the big team fight, she still had time to predict where Vortex was going to be and just hit him with a couple more missiles.
However, if you thought that was impressive, then you are going to be absolutely mind-blown by Zadoon on this ETC. As we roll it forward, we see here it's the 4v5. Dehaka bows it. Now Zadoon looks cool, so he runs down, but wait, look at this mosh pit. Gets all 4 members. Double resets are insane. 2 people go down in the same tick of the game server even. And of course, Lucifon follows very shortly after. Meanwhile, top, Sonya is actually just on the fort that entire time. They get both forts, top and bot, I believe, from that play, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah, before this tournament started, I was talking to a couple of Grandmaster players, Yellow Flash, formerly of Team 4K MMR, for example, and he told me that Wolfsy was one of the safest solo laners you could possibly think of. Now we know why, because the rest of his team does just so well.
Absolutely, he was really, really strong in this, and now Spain, their options are beginning to close. They're now starting to rely on other teams, but in order to keep with any chance at all, they still need to win this series. Which map would you like to see them go to?
It's hard to say. It looks like the Polish team figured out what the Spanish team may bring to the table to surprise them. The Vikings band spoke a clear language there. So I think the Spanish team needs to go standard again. I really don't think they can do it on a shenanigans map like, let's say, Haunted Mines or Warhead. I mean, those were banned anyways, or Black Cards, whatever. I think it's going to be Infernal Shrines or Curse Hollow, one of the likes.
I think Dragonshire. I think Spain were very strong there yesterday. They were, of course, forced out that Lost Vikings ban, and when you force that ban, you gain an advantage in draft, which is what I think Spain needs to do.
We're going to Haunted Mines, gentlemen.
Okay.
They seem to potentially disagree. Shenaniganry might be on the table. There's always the chance, though, as a reminder, that Poland could have picked this map. They may be more comfortable going here if Spain wanted to go for the first pick.
To be honest, all the games that we've watched so far on Haunted Mines were exceptionally exciting and very much fun to watch. And I would have not thought that I would ever make the statement that I'm about to make. I want to see Haunted Mines being played more in competitive.
It was definitely interesting. the games have a different strategic aspect compared to some of the other maps.
Baker, you don't seem to be convinced.
I'm trying to avoid the wrath of Bakery here.
Well, so we did, of course, see the Junkrat from Team United Kingdom on Haunted Mines yesterday.
I'm talking more of
and
the Germany game. That was actually legit.
Okay, the Germany game was quite exciting and also very strategic. So I'm still not quite sure if this map's competitive ready, but there are some exciting games. I will give you that.
Hopefully these two teams will be able to convince you as we head into the draft of game number 2.
All right, Haunted Mines. We've seen multiple approaches now. Not really sure if the last one we saw yesterday by Team UK counts as a standard strategy here, but especially Germany showed us that even heroes who are not considered to be part of the current meta, like Jaina or Leoric, well, Leoric kind of is, but he's still not as frequently seen as he used to be, can have their value here. Strong AoE wave clear is good to sneak in those mercenary camps, to sneak in those ghoul camps in the mines. I'm curious to see whether we're going to see some exciting new picks here as well by either of the teams.
Well, I don't think we've seen Zagara on this map. We've seen it in this tournament, but it does get banned out. However, you wanted new picks. Instead, we're getting a little bit of the same to start off with. Mana getting that Chromie.
Now, we spoke last game if the first pick Chromie was worth it. It was not because, of course, Gugus had his trusted Genji. This game, however, Genji was banned. Mana locking in the Chromie.
He is going to be happy. So right now, guys, remember to keep voting for which team you think will be able to take this match. You can either type in hashtag PLWin for Team Poland or hashtag ESWin for Team Spain. Right now, it's leaning towards Poland, but we will see how that progresses in the draft. Because last time, Spain did recover some points during the draft.
Yeah, and it looks like Team Spain doesn't want to face the same problems again that they faced in Game 1. They pick the ETC as very first, plus the Rhaegar. So those are definitely two comfort picks and two very safe ones at that. The Nexus games have shown us times and times again how powerful those heroes can be.
So we do have the option for Tassadar, as we saw Spain prioritize very highly. He's still open here, and he can actually be very useful for defensive plays on this map especially. The extra shields on forts and cores, for example, can be a really big deal when defending against those mercenaries and the boss.
Tassadar with Chromie, though, is not what we see too many times, or am I wrong here?
I think Tassadar Chromie is a pretty specific comp because it does mean, obviously, that you can't really pick a melee hero. You do end up with double range, double support, and a solo frontline. So it can work, but it is a bit risky. And not opting for Tassadar, opting for Arthur Stukov. Two quite different heroes to what we're used to seeing at this stage of the draft.
But you said something very interesting yesterday, Bakery. Arthas is really good when it comes to dominating mercenary camps on Towers of Doom, for example. And I think he can fulfill a very similar role here on the Haunted Mines. You know, shutting down the entrance and put on Stukov on top of that. That is AoE zoning control at its finest.
And Stukov very popular on this map and the Tomb of the Spider Queen due to the disabling of those sappers, which there's a very good chance we will see if Spain are able to take control of any of those mercs.
All right. More bans coming in.
The thing we have to keep in mind here is this is Spain's last chance.
Yep. Yes,
they almost certainly need to win the next 2 games if they want to make it out of this group.
Even if they do so, they will be very reliant on the other games in the group, but every chance is a chance that they need. So taking this series is just essential for them at this point.
Already, the Spanish team is now dependent on the Netherlands. If the Netherlands win 2-0 against the Czech Republic, they're still not going to make it because the Netherlands are going to have the better score. So it needs to be a 2-1-2-1 now to go to a potential tiebreaker.
Yeah. So are you saying that Spain needs to be rooting for the Czech Republic if they're able to take this series?
Absolutely. The more wins for the Czechs, the better for the Spanish.
So we do see the Tassadar getting banned out. With Rhaegar ETC, the Tracer comp could have come in again, so removing one of the key factors in that.
Okay, so what can they pick? Like, how do you play against such a strong zoning team? Look at Team Poland here. We've got the Slowing Sands potentially, the Arthas, the Stukov. What would you think, Bakery, is a good way to fight around it?
It's tough. It's tough for Team Poland. I'd like to see them instead front load a lot of their damage and keep a lot of that damage sustained. So I want to see a poke here. I want to see possibly Li Ming. For the ranged assassin, possibly a Valor, possibly even Zul'jin. Just make sure you never have to dive the enemy team.
Yeah.
And pick a second support like Malfurion with a lot of sustain.
So you basically want to have a poke battle between Chromie and whatever else Spain is going to bring to the table. Any particular poke heroes that can mess with a Chromie, that can maybe even challenge her?
I think Li Ming, definitely.
Okay.
Li Ming has a lot of kill potential if she ever gets on this side. Now, what we do see is we do see Sonya, so they are kind of committing to moving forward, but they do also pick Brightwing, who can give that movement speed boost, give that spell armor, and is definitely going to be able to help out with that.
They, of course, can if they are behind as well. We've seen a couple teams fall back on that leap as they sort of counterplay to try and come back from behind in certain games. And Chromie, before certain levels, is one of those heroes who is very vulnerable to that. However, we were thinking it was mana on the Chromie. We might be wrong as Probius and Alarak come into Poland's draft.
And I am very much scared for Team Spain right now. How do you want to get anywhere when there is so much AoE crowd control, AoE damage, so many things you need to overcome first?
I'm looking at this Polish composition and I'm thinking this is not even close to standard.
Nope.
And it looks,
is it bad?
It looks very abusable. It looks very abusable. But the strength of the players on that team and how well they're going to play each individual hero, I'm not sure I can even bet against them.
Well, so far, chat appears to be with you, although, once again, Spain has recovered a lot of the vote. 78 to 22 currently, as Spain, they still need their range damage, once again, choosing to run that last.
Yeah, and they're going for the Tracer again. I was actually going to say something mobile needs to be pictured for Team Spain. The Tracer is probably one of the most mobile heroes in the game to really outdance the likes of Alarak, to really outdance the likes of Chromie, and just chase them down. And if you take a look at it, the greatest weakness for Team Poland right now is the squishy hero pools, or health pools, excuse me. So Probius, if it gets caught out, if a Chromie gets caught out, Tracer can really punish that.
Very true. Tracer can punish that, and of course Tracer and Brightwing, a very solid combo. Brightwing can time her phase teleport very well. Then solid Emerald wins could be coming in to split the team, and if not, just a nice shield. Phase shield on a Tracer is very nice.
Yeah, and especially if you consider Tracer's mobility, we saw that yesterday as well. A deep diving hero supported by Brightwing, not just for the shield, but also for the immediate Emerald wind splitting. That could actually be the secret to success here for Team Spain.
Very much so. But looking at these two drafts, one looks reasonable, one looks chaotic. But like you said, the value of the players could be a big deal here. Who are you rooting for?
I just can't bet against Poland. They were so strong. They were so strong this entire tournament, and I expect them to continue that way.
The draft of Poland looks acceptable.
Acceptable. As we are heading into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and we finally, for the first time in the draft, are going to see, finally, it is Alarak. But Kendrick, would you like to introduce who's playing it and the rest of the team?
Absolutely. For Team Poland, we're going to see Wolfsea on that Alarak. We're going to see Gugus on the Chromie, and we're going to see Zadoon on the main tag on Arthas. Once again, Arjuv plays the support, plays Stukov, and of course, who else could it be? It is Mana, a StarCraft 2 Protoss main on the Probius.
Cannon rushes will be expected here as we look to the right-hand side, fighting for survival. It's Team Spain with Darkham on the Rhaegar, Vortex playing the Brightwing, Mugilol on the Tracer, Lucifron back on his patented ETC, and the top lane, it's Sonya being played by Bijou.
All right, so we see a relatively standard draft against something we've never seen before in this composition. We see so many zoning, poking heroes for the Polish team, but a lot of potential hard engage for the Spanish team. Which one is going to reign supreme? I can't wait to see. And look at that. Wolfsea on the Alarak is actually not the soul laner. If you play a lot of Hero League, you will always, or not always, but very often see an Alarak in the soul lane. But no, he wants to get his stacks rolling later on. He wants to deal as much damage as possible on multiple people.
And he's actually potentially some of the biggest engage potential this team has. Telekinesis plus the Stukov silences plus the Alarak silences plus Arthur's roots and slows could be devastating. And to make sure he can do that as often as possible, he's gone for Ruthless Momentum at level 1, where his abilities will recharge faster while he's above 80% health.
Yeah, and hold that thought. ETC going for a nice Knockback. Who's going to win this, though?
Looks like it is going to be Poland. Yeah. The silence was only dropped for a second, but it was enough to be disruptive. And as such, Spain have to retreat.
And that is what we talked about during the draft, haven't we? So the Arthas, the zoning, the damage, the lurking arm, you cannot engage onto that, especially not if you want to capture a mercenary platform. So the silence is going to hit you, the slows are going to hit you, and all of a sudden your combat performance overall is going to get crippled severely. So the Spanish team pulled back. It looked good with a knockback by ETC for a short point in time, but in the end they had to give it up.
So Tracer did try to gank Probius very quickly, but the speed boost from Probius was able to get him out of danger. Now we see the Mercenary Camp being taken by Team Poland as Spain look to counter-push. Yeah,
Vortex actually took a lot of damage here, absorbing some of those tower shots, but he will himself back up in time. And it looks like there was a lane swap going on. Mana is now defending in the bottom lane, whereas 4 people are switching it around and trying to get value elsewhere.
With Zappers as well, they're able to take down the entire front wall, as do Spain though, so they trade even for even. As Spain move into the mines, quickest mines we've seen so far.
Absolutely, when we saw games between Germany and Belgium or Denmark, then almost always did it take at least like 5 minutes, 6 minutes before one of the players were willing to really go down and descend and take some of those schools. But here, things are going to go much faster.
Here's Poland moving into the in from the top lane as well, and they are also going to begin it. And this is a more original Haunted Mines game coming in from these two teams.
Definitely true. Both teams really trying to stack up their golem as quickly as humanly possible. In the meantime, though, look at the lanes on the surface, actually. Brightwing in the bottom and Sonya in the top lane, whereas Probius was doing a shuffle between top and bottom, trying to get as much experience as possible, and is now going over to take the Siege Giant camp. So the little probe doing a lot of work here for everybody.
And this is why he's taken that extra speed boost, giving him that extra map mobility, allowing him to rotate even quicker. As we see Spain popping out the mine, finding the time trap.
Round 2.
Poland, are they going to try and control this? Rajuv is getting dived on here. ETC trying to force it off. Good double silence, and they're able to kill off the Rhaegar, but Zadoon will go down in exchange, and the camp will be stolen.
And that is something the Polish team needs to be aware of. Arthas is the only true frontliner they have. So if there's a little bit of pushing going on, a little bit of zoning going on the Spanish team, all those squishy range shares that Poland has are going to have to retreat, and Arthas can actually find himself isolated and fall relatively quickly, especially before level 10, when he doesn't have that big army of the dead available.
Probius was continue to put pressure on the top lane, but does finally have to abandon it due to several heroes rotating up to deal with him. As such, Poland, now all their heroes alive, they go back to Mercer. Instead, again, I love the time trap positioning coming in here from Kroby for exactly this reason. ETC, round 3 on the point here. Probius, though, setting up beautiful 3-man silence, and we see Bijou in full retreat.
And I think Team Spain got a little bit too confident there in their fighting capabilities near a platform because they just won the one on the bottom. This was exactly the setup that Poland wanted. The silencing provided by the Lurking Arm was there. Alarak, Wolfsy hit a huge combo on, I think, 3 people at the same time. And that's, of course, a lot of stacks for his level 4 talent.
Yeah, he's going to be looking pretty good on it by this point. I would expect potentially 2 or 3 done, as Wolves is in full retreat, as he is taking a lot of damage here. Brightwing trying to chase him down. He's trying to do the mind jukes, but was not able to do so.
Oh, but Tracer actually explodes in the process there as well. They wasted a couple of seconds to stand still and kill Alarak. And Promi punished that super hard. And look at Mana. He's an absolute menace here with that Probius. The probe can actually siege up all by itself. All it needs is a cannon, a couple of pylons, and those things can even intercept fort aggro. So beautiful to see.
So beautiful to see indeed, as Probius has continued to put pressure on all over the map. We'll even scout this out. There is a cannon down here. The pylon in front of the cannon is not the best practice for StarCraft players, but it is still able to do a little bit of harassment in the meantime.
And if you've been watching the social media platforms like Reddit or YouTube for Heroes of the Storm, then you probably saw one of those highlight videos in which a probe totally dominated one of those mine entrances by dropping down a couple of those Ws and then making them all explode at the same time. And this is definitely something maybe Mana could set up later on when they have vision, when they know where the Spanish team is going to descend or come back from. You know, a couple of cannons, a couple of warp fields. Always
good. In trouble, the time trap, not enough to save him as Muginol finishes the kill But yeah, you mentioned that he could set up here, and that's going to be even more easy with the Rift Shock talent he took at level 7.
So, we gotta give a lot of credit to Team Spain here, I feel. When the game started and I took a look at the drafts, I thought this would be an easy-peasy game for Poland. They could dominate every Merc camp. They would also dominate the mines because of all that. And the game would probably be over relatively quickly. But Team Spain manages to catch up and to actually keep it even in terms of XP for a long period of time now. Their problem is going to be a little bit weaker though.
Yeah, Spain's got a little bit weaker, but it's still very close. Only a 4-skull difference here. The silences, Chromie damage, applied force coming in from the Alarak, and they are able to finish off ETC as Probius will be the one clearing up this boss.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. What are you going to do against all that crowd control when it is being used so well in synchrony?
The Blind Force once again pushing the Sonya into the boss stun. And the counter-strike, so much damage coming in onto Bijou. He is forced to retreat, but Telekinesis will be up as he chases forward. Will Alarak set up? Here comes the stage dive. Leap into the backline. This could be a huge turnaround. Chromie gets detonated, but so does Stukov. 2 members go down for Poland and Spain. A beautiful turnaround.
And Spain just pulled the trigger. The leap is exactly the tool they need to dominate and initiate those team fights. Sonya pulls the trigger, everybody else follows, especially the Tracer and the Rehgar, and boom, they're gonna blow a target like Stukov or the Chromie up. Keep in mind though, Mana was not here. He was pushing top lane all together with a nice chunk of mercenaries.
Mana was doing what Mana's been doing all game, but because of that, 3 members of his team did go down. And the fact is, now Spain have a counter tool a little bit to this Probius. They have double globals with that ETC mosh pit. ETC though not able, stage dive, and ETC not able to use it while he is dead.
Yeah, and this is the power of Alarak. I'm not sure how many stacks Wolfsy was able to accumulate, but this hurt quite a bit, even on the Mighty Cow.
That is going to be very painful indeed. As we do see Chromie, though, completing her Time Walker's Pursuit.
Which is a really big deal. Now, more ability power will be at her disposal. And if you thought that the combos were painful already, well, now they're going to hurt even more.
Wolf's telekinesis himself away, doesn't want to get caught out of position. ETC, Stage Dive is re-available, so is Leap. Every tool except for Ancestral is available for Team Spain. Poland, they have everything as well, but they are now playing a little bit more grouped.
Yeah, and these 2 abilities you mentioned, Tetcher, those are going to be the crucial ones. Nice cleanse, though, and he comes into the backline.
Dive, beautifully done. The counter-strike hits Vortex, who has to be ancestral, but he will survive the flaming strike, trying to zone everyone away. As here comes the pylon overcharge, doing some serious damage, but the cannon is unpowered here. Beautiful stun by by Alarak as they continue to move forward. Poland trying to kite the members of Spain. Every team just throwing out everything, but they can't finish the job here.
And you could really see how the team fight is turning once that surprise momentum is gone for Team Spain. Once there's no more confusion going on, once the Polish team has rallied, there's not really a whole lot the Spaniards can do, and all of a sudden, they had to retreat. Now, Gugus finds himself surrounded by Tracer, gets initiated on, is he gonna fall?
The counter-strike into the auto-attack, and Tracer gets destroyed here. Another silence onto the ETC here as they try to slow him down, but Power Slide will get him out.
Yeah, just barely missing Wolfsy with his Discord strike here. It was very, very close, but once again, we see when there's no leap available, when there's no stage dive available to really quickly engage onto the backline, the Polish team has it under control. So if I were the Spanish team right now, I would wait until the stage dive is back again. The ancestral healing is a crucial ability. Just take a little bit more time. They need to get 13 anyways.
Yep.
And they're going to fight later.
Indeed, they can soak 2 lanes, and if they wanted to try and risk the small camps, it would be very risky, so that's unlikely. So instead, they're going to get mercenaries. I'd rather ETC... Oh my god, they are going to try and raid. They have lead, they have stage dive.
That is
teleport in. Oh, the telekinesis. The silence doesn't land though. Stage dive hits no one, but the stun is good. Emerald's Wind is used. As Sonya leaps in. Rajuf, he does flailing swipe, but he's taking too much damage. Bijou taking him down as we still see the retreating moves. The time trap is good, preventing ETC from coming out through the mines.
Right, that was a very important pickup here. Hitting on Stukov is very rewarding because without healing, that squishy team composition that Poland brought to the table is going to crumble very, very quickly. However, let's not forget that the boss is going to be a lot more powerful on the Polish side. 66 skulls compared to 34.
As we see Wolves on clean-up duty for the moment. And like I said, that boss from Spain, that 66 Golem, is going to be in the bottom lane though. So we can see the fort down there already significantly weakened. So this is definitely going to be a fort at least going over to Spain.
Whereas in the top lane, that powerful Polish Golem is going to threaten a keep straight up. So it wouldn't surprise me if Team Poland were to push with united forces and combined efforts.
Right now, we are seeing Poland moving forward. Like you said, they do make that call to try and pressure a keep. Spain, they bring everyone back for defense except for Brightwing for that global potential. Tracer gets rooted, gets silenced. Cleanse is the saving grace there by Tharkum.
And did you see the prediction skills by Gugus? He was almost landing the entire combo on the Tracer on the retreat. I think that would have actually blown her out of her socks. And that would have been a kill. So from the back, though.
Probius used the speed boost to give himself a little bit of room. Leap onto him, though. The flailing swipe. The bomb as well. So much focus on mana. Ancestral keeps Bijou alive, though. Vortex is stuck in those slowing sands. Has to drop the ice on Emerald Wind to try and slow down, but Bijou is down. Sonya already down. Tharkum being taken out by the Probius combo. And it's 4-0 as Poland, they are moving on to the core.
Poland is unleashing living hell on earth here on the Spanish team. They take down one member after the other, and that was a display like I have never seen it before in the Nexus games up to this point. Everything worked out. The disengage also by Stukov every single time to keep his allies alive. Immaculate display in a well-earned 2-0 by Poland.
Poland takes the game and the series, looking so strong with that less than conventional draft. But that was just really nice play. They were even against a very punishing team of that stage dive, of that leap. But I want to give a huge shout out to Stukov. His first flame swipe, not as effective, but after that, he was on point protecting his team.
It looked like Arjuv was always on point with those flailing swipes, keeping everybody away. And it was the crucial ingredient for the recipe to work out, wasn't it?
Yeah, we mentioned how hard it was to dive into that Poland team comp. And slowing sands was one. You know, like, Arthur's was another, but I think the big thing was the flailing swipe. All but the very first time that Spain attempted the dive, the flailing swipe was huge.
Well, what do you have to show us, Bakery, from that game?
So the first replay I have, I believe, is the 10v10 turn. Now, Alaric thinks he's the man, but actually in Spain's team comps, they're just waiting, syncing everything up. Stage dive, Ancestral, and Leap, hitting the huge combination. Guga's taking the bomb, instantly going down, and this time, the flailing swipe was not in time. And this is going to result in a 3-for-0 trade by Spain, which kept them in the game.
Yeah, that was probably one of the few moments where it looked extremely good for Team Spain. And it was just oftentimes a question of seconds. They used their engaging tools to the best of their ability, but if it hadn't been for Arjuv and his immaculate lightning reflexes, I think they could have done it.
They potentially could have done it, but unfortunately it did not come to pass. And as such, Team Spain have been eliminated. There is no way for them to make it through now, or was my maths completely off again?
I'm going
Hang on,
to take
let us double check to be sure.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good for Team Spain, does it?
It does not. They are potentially reliant on other teams, which the next map we will find out. We will tell you after the break, at least, after we have checked.
There's one thing for sure. They need the Czech Republic to win.
If the Czech Republic 2-0, I believe there is a three-way tie.
Chance. So it is all down to this next matchup, which is going to be the Czech Republic versus the Netherlands. And we will be bringing you that right after this short break, so don't go anywhere.